This is Change Your Mindset Podcast, the podcast that helps change your life by helping change the mindset of the 99% into the 1% mindset. Here's your host, Adrian Gomez.
Welcome to a new podcast episode of Change Your Mindset. I'm your host, Adrian Gomez. Harvard College. Once upon a time, Harvard College was one of the greatest colleges in the United States. People would say, I graduated from Harvard. People would be amazed, astonished. Wow, you're so smart. It was a great accomplishment back then. You were seen far superior than everybody else because you went to Harvard and because people assumed you were very, very smart because it's super hard to get to Harvard. Not anyone can get into it. It's a great accomplishment, especially if you graduated. Now, Harvard, nothing more than a woke college. And now Harvard is incorporating Taylor Swift course. Let me repeat that one more time. Harvard University is incorporating a Taylor Swift course. I'm sure everyone or a majority of people know who Taylor Swift. Obviously, she's a musician, artist, one of the biggest people in the world. And Harvard will have a course that students can take on her life. They're not going to teach you how to make money. They're not going to teach you how to prepare for the real world. They're not going to teach you taxes, accounting, things are essential, things you need in real life. They're going to teach you about Taylor Swift's life. It's bad enough that people already come out of college and they're in thousands of dollars in debt. That takes them years and years of pay. Sometimes take people the whole lifetime to pay off that debt from college. And when they graduate college, they can't even find a job in their degree. Or, which happens a lot, the degree they got, they don't like the job for it. And they don't want to work the whole life doing that job because they're going to hate it. So it's bad enough that college is one of the worst steps a young person can make financially to help ruin their life. And also, like I said before in the podcast, how college is a scam. It's a system to set you up to be an employee for the rest of your life. That's what college sets you up to be. Not an entrepreneur, not to create businesses, not to be self-independent. It teaches you to be an employee and a slave to the system. But now, which was once one of the greatest universities in the United States, which a lot of highly intellectual people attended and graduated from, is now teaching a course on Taylor Swift. It's no wonder our society is so screwed up. But I'm going to read an article from the Harvard English department about what this Taylor Swift course will be about. The article was posted on November 9th, 2023. The title is Taylor Swift, Harvard's Version by Anika Inapudi. In 2009, you couldn't go anywhere without hearing Taylor Swift's You Belong With Me on the radio, in grocery stores, and on TV. Harvard English professor Stephanie Albert, 94, still remembers the first time she heard it, describing it as so much better and more compelling than all the other pop songs that were playing at the time. 14 years later, Amber is still a die-hard Swiftie. Her interest in Swift has followed her to the classroom. Next semester, Harvard's English department will debut the course Taylor Swift and Her World, taught by Bert. In this class, students will earn college credit for their deep dives into Swift's lyrics, music, and influence, dissecting her catalog and reading a host of authors Bert finds relevant to understanding Swift's artistry. Swift is one of the biggest artists of the 21st century. She is the most streamed female musician on Spotify, has won 12 Grammy Awards, and her recent Eras tour is shaping up to be the biggest tour in music history. Still, some might be confused as to how Swift found her way onto a Harvard syllabus. Well, according to Burt, Swift engages with the literary canon, sometimes directly naming influences and muses in her music. For example, in her song, The Lakes, she sings the line, "Tell me what are my words worth," in reference to the English Romantic poet William Wordsworth. But to Burt, Swift's lyrics are an open invitation to discover these cultural touchstones. She understands Swift to be saying, if you want to understand me better, and my time in England better, maybe you should go read some Wordsworth, Burt says. And you know what? I would love to help you do that, she adds. Behind the chorus is an intentional pedagogy instead of teaching entirely new material. Burt hopes to give students a chance to critique art they already love. I try to teach only the courses that I think our students can really use, either because students want them or because our curriculum needs them, Burt says. The course seeks to add context and richness to the celebrity of Swift, a task especially present for Harvard Swifties, who may have had a little formal introduction to the literary and aesthetic analysis. But even with the focus on Swift, students won't be able to write every essay on how My Tears riots. Just hits different. Instead, Burr aspires to place Swift in a broader context of American art and literature. Required readings span from Willa Cather's portrait of the female artist in The Song of the Lark, and James Weldon Johnson's The Autobiography of an Ex-Colored Man, a novel dissecting issues of race and class in the post-Reconstruction South. Some of the works aim to address the urban-rural divide in America. The syllabus states students will learn how to think about white texts, Southern texts, transatlantic texts, and queer subtexts. Burt plans to track broader shifts in American culture through the lens of Swift's career. Swift is known for her well-documented shift from the country genre to pop music, which coincided with her move from Nashville to Manhattan. Burt intends to explore this move in the context of South's shifting relationships with the rest of the United States. Taylor Swift is someone who establishes complicated and changing relationships to the idea of Americanness and to the idea of white Americanness and of middle America, Burt says. Swift's evolving relationships with class, region, and identity have sparked a range of political conversations. Despite her initial trajectory as an artist focused solely on music making, Swift has become well known for her political activism after facing pushback for her silence during the 2016 elections. She has championed women's and LGBTQ+ rights, releasing anthems like The Man and You Need to Calm Down on her 2019 album, Lover. She was also heralded as a major influence in the Me Too movement. Through her course, Burr asserts that this influence on politics and culture is worthy of study and analysis. After all, students will spend at least one paper delving into the songwriting, singing, performance, or life and career of Taylor Swift. We are lucky enough to be living in a time when one of our major artists is also one of the most famous people on the planet. Burt says, why would you not have a course on that? Because of Swift's widespread popularity, Burt expects the course will have wide engagement. I could probably teach extraordinary niche courses that 4 people would take, Burt adds. I don't want to do that. Most of all, Burt hopes this course will speak personally to Harvard students. Taylor Swift is a good way to think about what it's like to have a lot of eyes on you and to wonder what you do with your privilege, Burt says. to look around and ask, I'm pretty ambitious, and I got to this place when I was pretty young. What do I do next? What do I do with all this attention? She pauses. I think that's very Harvard. And that's the end of the article. First of all, I don't know where to start, but when you read this article, when you hear about this course that's going to be happening, I can't find one reason, one way, how this would benefit a person to improve their life. As it is, most courses you take in college are completely useless. Same thing in high school, you're never going to use them. Waste of time, waste of effort. They have nothing to do with the real world. But Harvard is going to give students this course to take. And apparently it's filling up and they need more help because a lot of people are interested in this course. People are interested in a person who's a billionaire already, thanks to her fans, because that's how billionaires happen. They need money. So the fans go to concerts, giving them money, eventually adds up, and now she's a billionaire. So they're focusing on somebody's life, a celebrity, artist, who has no idea they exist, doesn't care they exist, doesn't care on the well-being, doesn't care at all about them. And that's reality. Those are facts. She has probably millions and millions of fans. I'm sure she doesn't know every single fan. But all these millions of fans know her. And instead of trying to improve somebody's life, trying to improve your own life, improve their own life, people rather focus on other people's lives instead of their own. And that always baffles me. It makes no sense, in my personal opinion. Maybe I'm the wrong one. Maybe this course is good. Maybe I'm the delusional one. Maybe I'm out of society. Maybe I'm in the wrong society. But to me, this makes no sense. If you can't realize by now how college is a scam, just by having courses like this, I don't know what to tell you. Of course, college is needed if you're going to become a doctor or lawyer. I would hope you go to college for that because that's something you actually need knowledge in. And obviously college provides that for you. But most things, most jobs, most degrees, you don't even need college. I'm by no means telling people to go to college, not to go to college. That's a personal decision you or them have to make. Or your kids, nephews, nieces, friends, whoever. But at the end of the day, stuff like this does not make sense. This is not helping you. This is not improving you. This is not making you any better by having a course on Taylor Swift. I once used to be one of the greatest universities in the United States. Some could say in the world. But now, this is how far this university has fallen. That's why you need to be careful who you follow, who you listen, who you learn from, all that. Because nowadays with social media, the internet, a lot of people say things that are very convincing, appealing, and compelling. And sounds very great, like making millions within a couple months. It sounds great, usually ends up being a scam. But by all means, people need to pay attention. People need to know where they're getting their education from, what they're learning, and what they're learning, is it providing value to you? Is it making you a better person? Is it making you smarter? Is it giving you tools to either make you more money, become physically better, or mentally better? Overall, you need to know, is this improving you? That's what you have to ask yourself. And for a Taylor Swift course in university where you're paying maybe $50,000 to $100,000 a year, you gotta ask yourself, is this needed? Is this improving me? Is this even making me smarter, first of all? You have to ask common sense questions like that. But unfortunately nowadays, apparently common sense is not so common no more. But like I learned, you can't save everybody. You can't change everybody. You can only save and change people that actually want to, which is a very, very small majority. And of course, if you're listening to this podcast, you're one of those people that actually want to change. But if someone wants to take this Taylor Swift course, and by all means, it just baffles me to see how far this society has fallen and what the future, the younger generations will be and how they will be. It's pretty scary, in my personal opinion. But at the end of the day, you only can do so much. Because a lot of people are suicidal, lonely, depressed, and have anxiety. So instead of trying to help people get better and improve themselves, universities rather teach a Taylor Swift course. That's our society nowadays. But anyways, thank you guys as always. I appreciate you tuning into these podcast episodes. Truly appreciate it. And thank you, Patreon member Blade262, for being a Patreon member and supporting the podcast. If you want to be a Patreon member, and if you want to be held accountable weekly to have your goals reached, you can do that by becoming a Patreon member in the link in the description below. As always, I wish you guys the best. Improve every day. Get better every day. No matter what this society tells you or tries to bring you down, get better. You have to get better. Thank you again. Take care. Be safe out there. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Change Your Mindset podcast. Be sure to tune in every week for a new episode. As always, change your mindset to change your life.